Hi, it's Juliet Loves Beginning, and today I have the idea of vulnerability to explore. I've been exploring a lot the idea of resistance and the role it plays in our lives, and allowing the resistant thoughts to come up to the surface and allowing them to dissolve. So, when we have that willingness, we're given experiences that assist us in releasing whatever there is to release. I think I see somebody there, so hello. um, so the way this was brought to me was an opportunity to deliver a message. Sometimes I get a tap on the shoulder to deliver a message to somebody from what would seem to be a dead person. So they're usually in the process from being tapped on the shoulder to delivering the message. There's quite a bit of resistance that comes up and quite a bit of reluctance. And it came up for me again. And I did deliver the message, and it was helpful to me. It's always helpful to receive and have the benefit of that message for yourself as well as to share it and deliver it. Um, but this whole idea of vulnerability was explained to me that when I fear being vulnerable, getting it wrong, um, being a fool, being, bothering somebody, there's this feeling of, being exposed. And when I fear that, it's ego convincing me not to allow ego's thoughts to surface. So if I stay comfortable and try to ignore the call to do what has come into my mind to do, um, I'm not allowing ego's thoughts up to the surface, and they're going to continue to torment me in daily life. So, I might as well do it now, today. In the situation of um, seeming to need to deliver a message, um, I've never been allowed to let it go or to be comfortable. It's just too persistent, and I eventually have to do something about it. So that's the way this was. But it really gave me the chance to look at the idea of being vulnerable. And what I was reminded of is when I'm having these vulnerability thoughts, like I don't want to expose myself like this, or I don't want to expose myself to ridicule. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to attempt what shouldn't be attempted. When all this is happening, I'm reminded that I have truth behind me because I am truth itself. And the whole point of allowing these thoughts up to the surface is to allow what has been obscuring the awareness of this truth to be brushed away, washed away, so the truth can shine, kind of like this flower. I was in a meeting earlier today and everybody was bringing their flowers into the shot, so it was a Zoom meeting. So I decided to include it in the video today. And then further, if I can observe that truth is with me everywhere I go, because truth is my nature, truth is the nature of everybody. And when I say truth, I also mean joy, I also mean peace, I also mean harmony. And to me, all those things are synonyms. Um, so if I see that, I can see that everybody is the truth. And then the call in that situation is, my perspective was I had this invitation to deliver this message from this so called dead person who doesn't seem very dead when it seems like you're getting a message to this so called alive person. And the invitation there is just to see the true nature of everybody. And it's a little bit new because um, ego wants you to put value on circumstances and actions. Like ego might value the idea of receiving a message or delivering a message, but all of this comes from a place where there is no value put on the circumstances or the actions, like zero, and no differential value placed on the beings the me, the one who seems to have died, the one that I thought I needed to send the message to. There's just such equality and shining equality. And I guess this is what it's meant. This is what I've read before, that when you're following guidance, it's really done for you. The actions are done for you. And it feels like that. To the ego it feels like I don't have a choice. I'm backed up against the wall here. But in reality, everything you need to do is done for you. When I get into that spot of acceptance, it just unfolds. There's not so much effort there. And every experience I have is an opportunity to let what isn't go, to let the perception of what isn't go, and to just allow the flow. Um, so if I'm willing, I can see the truth shining from everybody. And one of the things I anticipate when I feel I've been asked to deliver a message, the really fearful thing is of a negative reaction from somebody, or somebody saying, you couldn't have gotten this more wrong, or why are you bothering me with that? And instead, what I can see more clearly, instead of spending clock time, there's a space between when you deliver it and when you hear back from them. And I look for that reassurance, like, yes, this was helpful and not harmful. And then I feel like I can relax. Instead, I am really seeing the invitation to just see that other character in the drama, the one I seem to have delivered the message to, as another opportunity to see the essential true nature of everybody, the truth and the joy shining forth from everybody. That's more clear than it has been. And the awareness that I'm an actor in a healing drama is more consistent than it has been. It's getting stronger. So with willingness, I can see truth and joy in everybody. But if I'm not seeing it, it's for my benefit. It's for me. And it's a gift. And I've said this before, but it's just becoming more consistent in my awareness, becoming stronger. So if I don't see you as a reflection of the joy that we are, if I'm seeing you as something else, then it's my opportunity to get my thinking cleared up, because what you're really doing is enacting a drama that's showing me what thoughts are still present in my awareness, the thoughts I've been hiding, the thoughts I'm not acknowledging. For example, somebody close to me seems to be angry, angry about people being wrong. Okay, the person I'm thinking of is convinced that people are wrong and therefore acting wrongly. Um, and I can find myself getting into distress about this person being angry and thinking I have to fix it. But that's the egoic perspective. So when I come back to sanity, I realize this is the version of the person I've allowed myself to see today. And there's a little play being enacted in front of me. And what do I think is happening? Well, the person is angry. And then the next prompt is, well, what angry thoughts are you hiding? And one could be, I'm just angry that anybody's angry because it seems to inconvenience me. And then the other piece of it is people are wrong and acting wrongly. And if I'm seeing other people out there in the world believing that, I'm not acknowledging how I'm believing that. I'm believing people are wrong and acting wrongly. And it would serve me much, much better to find the willingness to let those thoughts rise to the surface and be swept away and replaced by truth. So if I'm seeing anything in the healing drama that is not truth, that is not joy, it's my opportunity. And the willingness is to see everybody as they truly are, and I feel like I know more deeply now they aren't their character, they aren't their role, they aren't associated with whatever reactivity is going on in me. All of that is the false. So when I can see how they're helping me and when I take the invitation to healing that's there, um, that then I feel gratitude. And I think that's our invitation here. If we can find our way to gratitude, not when it's easy, like when I look at I mean, yes, when it's easy, when I look at this flower and I just feel gratitude for spring and for the sunshine and everything so beautiful. Actually, the story of this flower is funny because it involves distorted thinking. I was in my front yard and I have a little bit of obsession with the spring flowers. I wait for them to bloom, and when they bloom, I'm taking pictures, and I get very excited about it. And so I might cherish them a little bit too much. When I went out to the front yard, there was a bud on the ground, and was it this? Oh, no, it was a different flower on the ground, and it looked like it had been cut, not that it had fallen over or it looked like it had been cut. And immediately my thoughts went to attack, like who would do such a thing? Who would cut somebody's daffodil? And I'm inventing this, story of victimhood of and then I realized that had that flower not been lying there on the ground, I wouldn't have cut it to bring it inside, and now I had to. And there was another flower that had fallen over. And so now I have them inside and I enjoy them, and there's really no problem and no attack and no plot and probably no villain. So, um, that flower in itself has a funny story when I can see through or I could just see the ego cavorting and I can see myself tempted to believe like somebody has attacked my flowers. And then I can see why would I feel so threatened by that? What is cherishing the flowers about? There is a line where quote unquote loving something becomes pain because it's not true love. If loving is more like allowing whatever is now to be here and celebrating that you're always safe and that you're always loved. It's not about thinking I need to preserve every flower in my yard and protect it from attack. So even the flower has a message for me today. Everything does. I hope you're having a beautiful Easter, beautiful day, and I wish you a beautiful week. Thanks.